believe it or not, this woman was able to transform her passion of communicating telepathically with animals into a lucrative and sustainable career. And today I have her as a guest where she's going to explain what animal communication is and how she was able to tap into the power of entrepreneurship and YouTube to turn this passion into a career. And if you're interested in learning more about what she offers, including animal readings, memberships, one-on-one coaching, and more, I'm going to put her website and YouTube channel link down below so that you can learn more. But for now, Dulsa, could you please begin by introducing yourself and also explaining your role in the field of animal communication?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. And thank you so much, Ari, for taking the time so that I may help educate and share information for your viewers. And yes, my name is Dulsa. My full name is Dulsanea Naedek. That's a lot. So please just call me Dulsa. And I've been communicating with animals for over 10 years now, as well as offering a Reiki healing space for both humans and animals. And I love talking with animals. Telepathically, we were all born like this. And our animals are all innately born telepathically and intuitive. The
Mhm.
problem that we experience in these human bodies is that we think, oh, the only way to communicate is verbally or by body language. Well, yeah, but that is not the universal language. The universal language is understanding one another intuitively and telepathically, which of course, that's where animals live. That's where how they vibrate. So I love doing this. I've been doing this, like I said, for over 10 years. And what I do is the animal communication session, if somebody would actually say, well, what does it look like? You really don't see anything. You really don't. There's nothing to see, but there's everything to receive. And when I talk with animals, I'm using all of my senses. And it could be either sight, hearing, I could even taste something, I could feel something in the body. I can also hear the sounds as well as all the all knowing could just come through. And it's just that all knowing, like, oh, I'm going to hear this next song. I've been thinking about it, and boom, you know it. So that is truly tapping in to the intuition, and it takes practice. But what I do in doing all of this is I help pet parents discover exactly what their fur babies want them to know, how to understand them better. And this also includes whether the animal is physically here or in spirit. And when connecting with animals, I learn about their life. I learn, do they like their toys? Is the food okay? Is there, anything else they need? And of course, diving in deeper into the soul contract, what their soul mission is, what the purpose is of them being in their human's life. And is it just one thing? No. It's a combination of so many different things. And there's so many variables behind, understanding what one soul contract is with their animal and with the soul contract that you agreed to also provide for your animal. So my passion really is to help awaken one's own awareness of not just their intuitiveness, not just their psychic ability, but their consciousness coming from the heart. And when you first have an animal communication session and you learn, oh my God, that makes sense. Right. I didn't realize it. Or even, yes, I had that feeling. Boom. It's everything opens up. Your heart opens up, your mind opens up. And because we're all energetic beings and our animals are energetic beings. So yeah.
Yeah. Dulce, you made a comment in there that, like you're able to connect with animals who are both living and also in spirit. And just for the audience listening, I just really want you to hear the power in this. Dulce actually gave me an animal communication session with my dog, Chewy. He's the one on the thumbnail, and also my other dog, Sadie. And Dulce knew she was able to communicate with my dogs. And she said, this was before I moved states. She said, they know that you're moving. And it completely blew my mind. I was like, wow, Dulce, like, did I tell you that? Did you, did I happen to mention that to you before? And she's like, no, like, they just told me. And I was like, oh, wow, like, that's crazy. I can't believe like you were actually able to pick that up. So those of you who maybe never heard of this before, or like you're a bit skeptical, like I'm just here to tell you, like Dulsa has stories like that and other ones as well, where she was able to communicate with the owners of the animals, like what they were saying. So it's really, really powerful. And so Dulsa, I have another question for you. Reflecting on your journey, can you take us back to that time before you actually embarked on this path? Like what inspired you to pursue animal communication? And also, what were some of the initial challenges that you faced or those doubts that you faced in the beginning?
Yeah, they were there. But how it all started was, as a child, they were my best friends. I hung out more so with animals. I talked to them all the time. I didn't question what I was receiving. I didn't even say, oh, I'm an animal communicator. No, I was just being in the present moment with the animals. And of course, as time went on, it was not encouraged. But I will tell you, one of the things that actually my parents really weren't aware what I was doing and why I was doing it. But I created a little daycare and for the kids in my neighborhood. I was like 6, 7 years old. And I said the only way you could enter into my special daycare, which was in the backyard, I had all tables set up and do the arts and crafts and have refreshments and stuff like that. My mom helped me with that. But I said the only way you can enter is if you bring your dog or your cat. Because back then, I mean, we're talking back in the 60s. Everybody hung out and their animals were always with them. Like, come on, let's go, Brutus, come on, Sally, So anyway, as time went on, I just noticed that my abilities and my connection with animals outside of my own animals in my home was getting really, really distant. And I realized eventually it was just gone. And that's typical. I mean, I can tell you, and I'm sure some of your viewers who are watching right now, they can go back in time and have a wonderful memory of you're having a conversation with one of the dogs, whether neighborhood or their own dog or their cat, or maybe their fish, their little goldfish. As time goes on with society and with, again, the English language, the French, whatever language you speak, it's the verbalization that becomes the way of communicating. And it got dampened down for me until, 2013, when my family said, would you please care for Fulligan? He's one of our cats. I said, why are you asking me that? Of course, because he was diagnosed with feline hyperthyroidism, which then eventually went into his liver and kidneys. But the long story short is, was like, you don't have to ask me. And I was at that time going to my neighborhood pet store, and they were always having like crystal people around, which of course, I always bought for them. I have a gazillion crystals. Crystals were my thing since a kid. And then there was also an animal communicator there. And she said, have you ever considered having an animal communication session? And I was like, no, what a great idea. Boom. So I scheduled it. And in that session, and it was remote, it was right on the phone. And in that session, immediately, in that just a brief meditation, I started feeling full again. I started seeing and hearing him. And the animal communicator was saying things that, of course, just like Ari, what you experienced in your session, I was like, I never told anybody that, phrases, concepts, ideas, things that we did with Fulligan. So in that session, when she was giving space to the information, I heard Fulligan say, it's okay. Don't talk about euthanasia right now to your guy, because they were asking me family members are asking me to take care of him. He says, they're not ready for that. They will come to it on their own. And the day before, my guy says, I think it's time, but I don't want him suffering anymore. What do you all think about euthanasia? I'm like, I think it's a great idea. It wasn't my place. And that was the guidance that Fulligan provided. And of course he said, yes, you need to do this. You need to open your heart. You need to help other pet parents, just like you're doing this right now with me. And it was so cute. He says, but don't call your business Fulligan. Nobody will get it. Fulligan, if you look it up, it means black of all blacks. And, when we understand colors, black is a color. It encompasses all colors. Anyway, his soulmate is Serena, and she's still with me now. She's 20. She just turned 20 this past summer. And she said, use Serena's name, use the feel of Serena. And that's where Serenity Reiki and animal communication or pet psychic came from. So that's how I started. That was 2013. I just immediately continuing to care for him once, and it was maybe 2 weeks after that reading was when he transitioned. And in that transition, because I was like enlightened, I was good. I knew he was going to leave the body, but heck, go for it. Because the body was not going to regenerate. The body was not going to come back.
Mhm.
And we all knew that. And because of knowing that, I was good where he was. I was good where I was. And the moment he transitioned, it was powerful. He went right into my guy's center because the two of them, I mean, all animals have a one-on-one connection with a certain human, but they have relationships with everybody else in the family. And my relationship with him wasn't any better or stronger. It was just different. And
Mhm.
it always comes from love. It's very powerful for everyone who's watching this, whether the live or replay, to really understand your animals that are in your life, because they have a different relationship with you versus anybody else in the family, doesn't mean they love you more or less or them more or less. It's just different. Now it goes back
Mhm.
to the contract. But when I saw that, I just saw his energy go right into his center, and he shared that with me. And then about a half hour later, I never told you this, Ari. He we have two small angel pictures. They're like this size, like 4x4, and they're golded plated angel frame pictures. They're really small. On the other side of the room, they tilted. They just turned. I was like, "Yep, he's here."
Wow.
So that's what started it. And then afterwards, I was able to focus, and I focused on working and studying and practicing animal communication, and the Reiki, and obviously Reiki actually opened my heart center even more for me. But it doesn't mean you have to become a Reiki master to be able to be an animal communicator. No, 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 that's not what I'm saying. That was the path I took, because I must have needed it for my own healing purposes as well. So
Mhm. That's really powerful. And especially what really struck me is that you turned the passing of that animal into a very transformative experience, a very positive experience. And for the
oh,
people listening, I know, like, having the passing of an animal, like, people take that as like a negative experience. And I can only imagine. I personally never experienced loss of a pet. Sadie and Chewy, we got them, like, like recently in the past few years. But I did want to say, if anyone out there is listening to this and maybe you're struggling with pet grief, or you have an animal that's about to leave the body, Dulsa actually has an upcoming workshop to help you cope with pet loss. So I'm also going to put that link down below, because I want you all to experience what Dulsa did, where it was a transformative, positive experience. And also, she was able to communicate with the animal, like, after he left the body, and that story that she just shared. So really, really powerful. I wanna move on to the next question, Dulsa, because a lot of the people listening, they have some sort of passion. Maybe it's not animal communication, but a lot of them are in the creative niche. A lot of them are in the intuitive personal development niche, and so we know that building an online presence can seem really daunting in the beginning. So, can you share with us those specific steps that you took to actually effectively spread your message and attract both clients and community members to your cause?
actually, absolutely. So actually, when I first started, and the websites that I created, and we're talking back in 2015, 14 at that point, they were okay. But I did not, I wasn't sure why I wasn't getting the traffic or as
Mhm.
many readings. And I was also, because I think it's important to understand where I was before I met you, Ari, where I was to even realize to awaken. I need help with this. I wasn't getting the traction, which is I was doing this part-time, and I was doing something else part-time. Was actually network marketing, selling CBD, which I love. I still take
Mhm.
it. I still offer it, but I don't do that anymore. I haven't for over 2 years now. I do it very, very part-time. This is my full time. What I realized, and it was actually a year ago, I needed help. And I knew just being on TikTok and Facebook and a little bit of Instagram wasn't enough. I knew I needed to get on to YouTube, but I had no idea. Plus, I knew my website was not, it really wasn't that great. I mean, can I say? I did my best. I got my information out, but it still wasn't the best. So that's when um the steps I took was I started doing the research, and it was so interesting. Ari, I found you on Fiverr because at that time I was on a budget. Oh my God, was thinking about money. Well, I only have this, I only have this. So I went on to Fiverr and I typed in how to promote myself on YouTube. And you came up and we connected, and you immediately, I loved your energy. I love it now. You knew exactly what I needed. You looked at my website, you evaluated, you gave me points, you were very upfront, you were very clear, and you actually took me down the path of the future based on what I asked of, based on what I really wanted to pursue, and said, this is another option for you. You have choices, and I'm going to leave it up to you. But, if it was me, this is what you need to offer. And what I learned was I didn't have a substantial foundation of resources to offer my viewers, to offer people that are visiting me on my website. So she was like, you got to do that. I was like, oh my God, that's so easy. That is the easiest thing I could do. So I created 3 resources, which they're there in my website. You can see them. One is a guided meditation you can use whether your fur baby is here or is in spirit. Another one is an intuitive exercise you can do with yourself and with your animal. And the third one is my 12 tips on how to open yourself telepathically to communicate with animals. So just creating those was an eye-opener for me, because it actually gave me the opportunity to start building a following. And in that following, Ari helped me create that funnel. I have an email list now. I have people that are, totally interested. I also am able to really niche down in terms of what are the most important areas that in all of my years communicating with animals, what do people really need to learn and understand and grow with? And that it focuses around how to deal with pet loss, why an animal is exhibiting certain behavior problems, why there may be a disconnect, why did the animal come into your life? Sorry, my bug. why your animal is in your life? How to help? Why does your animal run away from you if you're so upset? These are really common questions. And so I'm able now, with Ari's guidance, of how to best serve my avatar, my peeps, whether they are light workers, whether they have a 9-to-5 job, whether they're in the metaphysical world. Doesn't matter their background, doesn't matter your background. All that matters is you recognize you really want to dive in and learn more about your relationship and your connectivity, not just with your animal, but with life, because our animals are here to help us in our life.
Wow. That's really, really powerful. And for everyone listening, I just want to recap that a bit, just so that you could see the possibilities, because what I helped Dulsa to do essentially is create a way to turn viewers on YouTube, on social media, into investors of what she is offering, because she has these products and services, these free resources, these readings, this community that can help a person beyond just a short form video, just a long form video. And so when you take the time to establish that, then it's really powerful, because those videos, especially, this is why I like YouTube, because videos that you posted a while ago, when they pick up later on, they can still turn viewers into customers, and then they can benefit beyond just from the video. So that's really a way that you can stand out from the sea of sameness that is YouTube, is by offering additional help. I've gotten on the phone with a lot of people who met me from YouTube, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. I watched so many of your videos. This is great. So yeah. So in Dulce's case, I mean, she was able to really powerfully help people with animal communication, and not just that, but raising their consciousness.
Yeah.
And so it's really a step beyond that. Something else I want to ask you, Dulsa, is you have a very mission-driven business, and that can be challenging to balance with your personal life. So can you maybe share with us any strategies or practices that you have to help you maintain your focus and your passion?
Absolutely. Well, one of the areas, because now I have specific ways, whether it's a group, one-on-one coaching, or providing a reading, a full animal communication session reading or a mini reading, that it allows me to spend my time doing those. And then I don't overwork. I'm available. I allow myself to give myself time, because for me, when I do energy work, I always afterwards, I give myself a break. I walk away from the computer. I walk away from whatever responsibilities for my business that I have. And then when I come back, I'm refreshed, I'm ready the same day. So I love that flexibility I created. And I used to work 7 days a week. I no longer do that with Ari's guidance. She taught me and opened up that door for me. You don't have to work harder to get to work smarter. In fact, I work less and I work smarter, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
And the business has even grown.
and my business has grown. And my business has grown. And that's because the time that I spent is in quality time, whether it's producing content for a long or short video, or I'm producing my presentation for the community for that week, or I'm going over the next part of my coaching session for my clients, which is all relevant to the Awakening program right here, which is also on my website. You'll be able to learn about that. We dive into that in the one-on-one private coaching. So when I'm working, I'm just totally focused. I'm totally aligned. I know my purpose. I know where my energies need to be, and I know when I'm done, I'm done. It's allowing me to follow my intuition and stay passionate about what I do.
I think you another one on this subject, Dulsa. I think you actually answered this next question that I have in your last answer. I was going to ask you to share more about your various products and services that you offer, but I think you covered a lot of that. Is there anything else you want to mention in terms of what you offer that maybe we didn't dive into yet?
Just so people know, if you heard me say Reiki, Reiki is a traditional Japanese healing system, and it's a meditative healing system. So it's wonderful for both human and animal to open themselves up for the session. And it's long distance, it's by phone. You just put the phone on speaker and you just relax in the comfort of your own home, keeping your space open for your animal to come in and out. That's a really good session if you just need to align your energies, or your animals exhibiting either behavioral or a physical issue. Now, I am not a vet. I am not a doctor. I will never prescribe, or I will never give you a diagnosis. That's very, very clear to understand. And if in fact you do schedule, you have a very detailed form where I do ask if you actually have taken your vet to the veterinarian, to the doctor. And I want you all to understand that if your pet right now is exhibiting any behavioral or physical issues, I will always say or ask, have you taken them to the vet? Have you gotten information from that? That's very, very important, because I cannot claim any medical claims here. I just tell you what the animal shares. In fact, I just connected with a dog earlier this morning, and he was showing me there was something going on with his nose, and he hasn't been eating, but he really wants fresh water and he needs to drink more. And his human was actually getting ready. They had an appointment this morning with their holistic veterinarian to go over exactly what I shared to be addressed. So that's very powerful. That scenario works as well.
Wow. I like that you do that, Dulsa, because you really are serving with integrity when you have because a medical professional, they can like run more tests and whatnot. And I know maybe something in the reading, maybe you picked it up a little bit different. So it's good to have people to go to a vet, and and yeah, it could really have people get multiple opinions. But I know you mentioned stories before where you told the owners to take them to the vet to check out like a specific part of themselves, part of their body.
And the vet confirmed it. It.
That's really, really powerful. That actually, again, leads me into my next question. I'd like to hear more about the impact mainly that you've been able to achieve through animal communication, and also how income was a byproduct of that.
Powerful. So before meeting Ari, I was living week to week, what was in the account.
Mm.
And when I initially met Ari and realized she's real, she gets me, she understood and was very transparent in, wow, animal communication. And I remember you sharing with me, this is wild, this is fantastic. And of course, that's when I said, well, regardless if we work together, I'd love to connect with if you have fur babies. And that's how that session happened. But the point is that Ari, your empathy, your integrity, you have such an open heart. And because of that, you're able to have guided me all along. It's going to be a year in December. And
Mm-hmm.
that first month we started working together, I never had over several $1,000s in my account at one time.
Wow, that's really, really powerful. I hope
So
that inspires a lot of people listening that you can turn your passion into a career. There's a saying out there, I've heard this a few times, like, oh, only those in make money niches can earn money, because it's like a cycle, like, oh, we teach you how to make money, and then they teach you how to teach others how to make money, but it's not true. I mean, look at someone like Dulsa. There's a bunch of people in my community who turned a passion of theirs, whether it was knitting, drawing, relationship advice, health, and they turned it into a lucrative career. So it really comes to show when you have impact at the forefront of your mind, income becomes a byproduct of that. The people who go into this and they just want to like make money really quick, I don't see them succeeding. And even if they make money really fast, they didn't do what Dulce did and took the time to build those sturdy business foundations. Because if you don't have sturdy foundations, the thing's gonna topple over.
and Ari, I mean, I followed everything you suggested that I do. I did, and was a little nervous. Yeah, I was at first because I was getting out of my comfort zone. But that's the other side of what makes you successful in any endeavor you want to pursue. I've learned when I'm uncomfortable, that means I need to do it. Now, am I
Mhm.
uncomfortable communicating with animals? No, because I've been practicing and doing it. And, we always say practice makes perfect. And I practiced for a whole year before saying, okay, these are my fees. And I was just like, this is great. But what's really cool is when you have a system in place, you have everything aligned. You're not thinking about how much money you're going to make. It just happens. I
Mhm.
mean, because you're out there. For me, I am out there servicing. That is what I want to do. That is my passion. My passion is to awaken as many people as possible to their true selves with their animals or with their animals in spirit. It doesn't matter, because when I'm communicating with an animal physically here or in spirit, the information comes through regardless. Sometimes I even have to say, I go back to the sheet and go, did the woman say that her fur baby's in spirit? Oh yeah. Because
Mhm.
the information is just like they're right here with me. And they
Mhm.
are, because everything is energy. Everything is. And there's no
Mhm.
such thing as death. So I will leave it like that.
Wow, beautiful. So that's a really good takeaway message for the audience listening. But I want to wrap up this conversation by asking you, Dosa, do you have any last pieces of final advice for the aspiring animal communicators or entrepreneurs?
Yes. So my advice to you is, and if you need help with this, obviously reach out to Ari. If you really aren't clear on what you're passionate about and how to go about getting your message and your service and your abilities to help whomever, that's the first step. You have to do that. And you really have to clear your mind. You can't be anxious about it. That anxiousness is just a little reminder that you're getting out of your comfort zone. So just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. And because anytime we try something new, it's going to be like, I don't know if I should be doing this. And then, of course, don't look at the money. If you focus on the money, you won't be successful. If you know in your heart of all hearts what you're doing is powerful, the money's going to flow. I mean,
Mhm.
that's the easiest way I can share this. Another thing that I really, really want to share with everyone is that, um, using YouTube, man, it's powerful because it's not just learning how to, put out content to help your avatar, your followers, your subscribers, and the process of doing it, and whether it's a short form or a long form. But there's also another aspect, and that to grow your community is also to have that experience where you can either provide an interview for somebody or with somebody. And that was one of the things that Ari opened up the door in the community, because I'm also in Ari's community. I get mentored, right? I get mentored by you, Ari. And in that community, you stressed how powerful that is. And of course, it is. And having those, I was interviewed by Jeff Marr, who is very well known. And that in that one interview, oh my God, not only did my channel grow, but I was super busy for 2.5 months. I mean, overbooked. I was overbooked. It's just starting to pace itself now, so I'm not overbooked anymore. So I'm excited, and I've been interviewed by other light workers and metaphysical people that are in this type of industry, and it's just continuing to be amazing. And when you can come to it with an open heart, and no, don't judge yourself. Don't get caught up in that, because that will smash you.
That's really powerful right there, Dulsa, especially collaborating with other people, because I mean, look at what you experienced. You literally experienced like overnight organic growth with your channel, with your business. So there is a lot of power in YouTube to tap into. And I don't want anyone here to fall into the mentality it's like, oh, I got to wait till I have thousands of subscribers before I make money. Because even if you take that route and you just rely on ads, I work with people who have monetized YouTube channels, and it doesn't, well, if you get millions of views, yes, but having livable income, that's something that we're striving for. I had a friend, and YouTube out of nowhere cut her ad revenue by 90%. Out of nowhere. And so it's not, I wouldn't recommend relying just on that. It's good to do what Dulce's doing, and even what I'm doing, where we transform our channel into a business, and we have emails, because even if tomorrow we wake up and our YouTube channel is gone for whatever reason, it's like, well, we still have our business. That's really it's really bulletproof for those types of issues. So thank you, Dulsa. I appreciate you having you on. Truly, it's an honor serving you and helping you in this process. Those of you listening, if you would like to explore more of the world of animal communication, then I encourage you to check out Dulsa's YouTube channel and her website. She has a bunch of opportunities on there, including to get readings, to join the community, to get mentored by her. And so there's a lot of really great stuff on there. So I recommend that you check those out. Thank you again, Dulsa, for coming, and thank you everyone for watching.